So the first question, so we have to set up a list from this range. Okay, so we get these numbers. Now we need to iterate through this list and then print row and then the number itself and square root of the number and a running sum. Okay, so let's first print the header. Okay, so that has to come right at the top. So we have that. So and then below that, then we need to initialize the running sum. So we can call that sum equal to 0. So then we can start adding stuff to it. And then we have to do an enumerate. So enumerate, you give a variable for index, say I, and a variable for value v. Okay. Now whatever variable name that you give here, suppose if you give the names as int and val, then we must use these two names within the loop. You can't give one set of names here and then use a different set of names within the loop. So if these two are the names that we are going to give, then you say enumerate. Okay. So now you get to the loop. So now to do the running sum, we can then say accumulate the val into sum. So the sum will get accumulated with the new values. So then we have to test whether the value is negative, because if the value is negative, then we want to set the square root as 0. So we do an if, okay, val is less than 0, right? So then, okay, so let's say sq val sqv is 0. Okay, and then if not, so we do an else for that. Sqv is equal to val to the power of 0.5. Okay, and you can use the NP square root function also. Okay, so now we need to print as we go through the loop. So once the square root value has been set inside the if block, then we have to go here. We are still in the for loop. So as we loop through, one row at a time will get printed. Then we set up the print function. So we say print, right? And then you give the f string. So we're going to do IND first. So that's your row number 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. And let's say that we want that to be width 2. Okay, and then we want to print the val. Okay, let's say 8. And then we want the SQV. We want to print SQV, and let's say width of 12 and then 2 decimal place floating point. Okay, and then finally the sum. So we do sum and say 10. And then we close the string. Okay. If we run this, then the print will get printed every time you loop through. And I forgot to put what to enumerate, so that should be L1. Okay, and then you run, then you get the printout. Okay, so now if you want to adjust your formatting a little bit, we can do that.